Hi, Tony from Bonner's Music here. We're a big keyboard store in Eastbourne on the south coast of England where we've got over 70 different keyboards on display, and you can compare all the different models from the top manufacturers side by side, so when you're choosing a keyboard you know you're making the right decision. I'm here today to talk about three portable pianos, or stage pianos as they're known, and these types of instruments are ideal if you need something to carry around with you, something portable to use on stage or at rehearsals, or perhaps in a church environment, or most popular nowadays is students taking this kind of instrument to university. So we have three models here from Roland, Casio and Yamaha. Down here on my right I have the Roland FP30. Up the top here I've got a white one just so you can see the difference between the three models. This is the Yamaha P115, and underneath I have the Casio PX160. Now all of these pianos are around about the same price, roughly, give or take about £50 at today's prices when I made this movie. They've all got unique features about them, but what I'm going to concentrate on are the most important things that people want every day when they're choosing a portable piano. So first of all, the weight. The actual physical weight of the instruments. The Roland is the heaviest by about 3 kilos, weighing in at about 14 kilos, whereas the Yamaha and the Casio really are very lightweight, so you can just pick that up like that ever so easily, and they weigh in at just over 11 kilos each. So from a portability point of view, Yamaha and Casio are slightly lighter weight to carry than the Roland. Now, all three models have a weighted keyboard action, and that means that they've got the resistance that you would get when you play a real piano with wooden keys. That's simulated. All of these have plastic key beds, but they do have weighting on the keys, so they do offer some resistance, which means you can get some expression into your playing. All three models feature weighted keyboards. Also, the Casio and the Roland seem to have a slightly textured finish to the keys, so the key surfaces aren't shiny, and that does mean that after playing for a little while, when your fingers start to sweat or perspire, that they don't start to slip. The Yamaha has the sort of traditional digital piano shiny key tops, whereas more recently we have noticed that more manufacturers are putting this textured surface. It's called ivory feel. Obviously they're not allowed to use real ivory nowadays, but it does give the feel of an ivory key top, which is what you used to get on traditional acoustic pianos. Now let's talk about the sounds. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to play you a variety of sounds, but the same tune and the same piece of music on every single piano, and I've tried to choose, they're only very, very short excerpts of music, but I've tried to choose things that do show the piano sound. It's not to show my playing, it's to show what the piano sounds like in different contexts, different styles of music using different sounds. So first of all, just very, very basic, I'm just going to play 5 notes C to G in the middle of the piano. So first of all on the Yamaha, and now the same 5 notes played on the Roland, and the same 5 notes played on the Casio. So there, hopefully you can hear the sort of tonal difference between the three instruments. Now I'm going to play the same thing up an octave and down an octave on each instrument. So first of all on the Yamaha, up an octave higher, and on the Roland, up an octave, and on the Casio. And here's the same thing an octave below middle C on the Yamaha, on the Roland, and on the Casio. Now I also like to test a digital piano by playing the extremes of the keyboard, so especially down the bottom end. When you play the bottom of a digital piano, that's where you can show up any kind of imperfections in the sound. So here we are. I'm going to play that just is the bottom two A's, so an octave apart A notes. First of all on the Yamaha. And now on the Roland. And on the Casio. Now I'm going to play the top octave on the Yamaha. On the Roland. And here's the top octave on the Casio. Okay, so that gives you an idea of sort of scientifically how the different instruments sound from a tone point of view. Now I'm going to play a very short piece of Chopin music on each instrument to give you an idea of how it sounds playing classical music. Now let's take a listen to the three instruments playing something a bit more contemporary. This is a piece of music by Bruce Hornsby, and it's a much brighter, more percussive piece of music. But on each instrument I'm still just using the basic grand piano sound. I haven't changed sounds, I'm just using what the manufacturers deem to be the best piano sound when you first switch the instruments on. So there, now we're starting to build up a picture of how each instrument sounds using the acoustic piano sounds. Now, on all the instruments, there are choices of acoustic piano sounds. For instance, on the Casio, you'll see that there are actually 5 different piano sounds. The Yamaha has, I think it's 3 different acoustic pianos. The Roland has a lot of sounds, but they're hidden sort of under the keyboard. And I must say, when I first plugged these pianos in, the Roland is the only one that I had to get the owner's manual out for to work out how to use it, because there's actually quite a lot of functions which are hidden kind of through multiple button presses and things. Now, if you look at the Yamaha, you've got separate buttons for each of the different voices. The Casio, you have your 3 main voice buttons, but then you also can use the keyboard to choose different piano sounds. Now, that's the same with the Roland, but the nice thing is with the Casio, they're actually marked on the panel which key does what. On the Roland, it doesn't actually tell you which key does which sound, and actually depending on which voice button you press, the keys do different sounds. So a little bit more of a learning curve there with the Roland to get to the sounds. However, the Roland does have a wider choice of sounds than the Yamaha or Casio. Now what I'm going to do now is choose some of the other more popular sounds that people purchase these pianos for. If you're purchasing it for use on stage, then sometimes you might want to use the electronic piano sounds, and that sounds like the Fender Rhodes, the Wurlitzer, and the DX7 type FM piano, sort of electronic piano sound. So first of all, here is the Fender Rhodes type sound of the Yamaha. Fender Rhodes sound on the Roland. And the Rhodes sound on the Casio. Another popular keyboard sound from the 1960s and 70s was the Wurlitzer piano sound. So here we are, here's the whirly sound from the Yamaha. And from the Roland. And from the Casio. So as you can see, all three instruments offer a wide variety of sounds. I'm just going to choose a couple more to show you. First of all, this is the church organ or pipe organ sound, and this is on the Yamaha. And the same piece played on the Roland. And again, the same piece of music using the organ sound on the Casio. Right, that brings me to the last sound that I'm going to show you, which is the string sound. Now this is quite a useful sound, especially if you're going to be using this on stage. So first of all, we're going to hear the string sound on the Yamaha. And here's the same piece of music played on the Roland. And this is the string sound on the Casio. Another useful feature is that you can mix any two voices together that you like on these instruments. So you could, one that I like to do quite a lot is piano and strings mixed together. So you do that by holding down two sound buttons together. So first of all, we'll choose piano and strings on the Yamaha. And piano and strings on the Roland. And piano and strings on the Casio. So this is where it becomes a little bit more tricky with the Casio, because to mix sounds together you have to press the function button and then press two keys together as well. So that is a little bit harder to do. I would imagine in a live situation, if you needed to change sound quickly, maybe not so easy to do. But then again, these are really entry-level pianos, and you will have to cut corners in some ways. Because you can spend 3 times as much as this easily on a stage instrument, but I do think that all three of these represent very good value for money. So, what are the differences between them? Well, the Yamaha and Casio are quite similar in their specification. They've both got a similar number of voices. They're both weigh about the same weight. They've both got proper 1/4-inch jack audio outputs, which makes them great for use on stage. The Yamaha even allows you to turn on or off the internal speakers when you're using the audio outputs, which is quite a useful feature if you're using it in a stage environment. Now, the Roland doesn't have dedicated audio outputs. You can plug it into an amplifier for use on stage, but you do have to use the headphone socket. You've got a choice of 2 headphone sockets. You've got a mini jack output and a full 1/4-inch jack size output. But it is a headphone socket and not a dedicated line output. And it does warn you in the manual that if the output's distorted, you need to turn the volume down. So a little bit of a corner cut there, but Roland have made up for that in terms of other specifications. You can also use the Bluetooth for connecting to apps, so that you can, for music making apps, so you can follow the music, you can play along to tunes, there's tuition things. So from the Roland's point of view, it's got lots and lots of features, but maybe not so good for use if you're using it in a live environment. I think my feeling is that the Roland is ideal if you want something for at home, whereas the Yamaha and Casio work well at home, but they work extremely well on stage as well. So that's kind of how I would sum up these 3 instruments. I think with the Roland you're getting a lot of features for the money. For me, it's just a shame it doesn't have proper line outputs on it for stage use, but let's face it, most people who buy these are buying them for at home. All of these pianos are ideal if you're a student living in rented accommodation, or you need a practice instrument for your child. You can put it in their bedroom, because they really are so easy to move around. Overall, 3 very, very good instruments. Now, don't just take my word for it. Try and get your hands on one and hear them side by side. You can do that in our shop. We're in Eastbourne on the south coast of England. There aren't many places that you can try all 3 different brands under one roof. So give us a call, come down and see us. And if you check the links in the description to this video, you'll be able to find information on prices. We do offer packages at Bonner's Music. So we have different packages based on different environments. For instance, we do a value package where you get a soft carry bag and a keyboard stand and a keyboard seat to sit on as well, and a pair of headphones. Or you could go for one of our premium packages or our elite packages, which include the wooden stands and the triple pedal boards, because all three of these instruments you can buy dedicated wooden stands and a pedal unit which has three different pedals like a grand piano would have. So there are lots of different options available. Check out our website, because we've tried to cover all bases. Very, very good value for money packages as well. And if you need any help choosing which is the best piano for your needs, then give us a call or pop down to our store. Even if we're an hour, 2 hours journey, it's worth the journey to make sure you're buying the right thing, because there's nothing worse than getting an instrument at home and realizing that perhaps it wasn't the right thing for what you need. So please do give us a ring. We're quite happy to talk about pianos over the phone. You can buy online from our website, which is bonnersmusic.co.uk, or we'd love to see you in our store. So that's the three different pianos: the Yamaha P115, the Casio PX160 and the Roland FP30. So thanks very much for watching this movie, and I'll see you in the next piano demonstration movie. Hi, Tony from Bonner's Music here. We're a big keyboard store in Eastbourne on the south coast of England, where we've got over 70 different keyboards on display, and you can compare all the different models from the top manufacturers side by side, so when you're choosing a keyboard you know you're making the right decision. I'm here today to talk about three portable pianos, or stage pianos as they're known, and these types of instruments are ideal if you need something to carry around with you, something portable to use on stage or at rehearsals, or perhaps in a church environment, or most popular nowadays is students taking this kind of instrument to university. So we have three models here from Roland, Casio and Yamaha. Down here on my right I have the Roland FP30. Up the top here I've got a white one just so you can see the difference between the three models. This is the Yamaha P115, and underneath I have the Casio PX160. Now all of these pianos are around about the same price, roughly, give or take about £50 at today's prices when I made this movie. They've all got unique features about them, but what I'm going to concentrate on are the most important things that people want every day when they're choosing a portable piano. So first of all, the weight. The actual physical weight of the instruments. The Roland is the heaviest by about 3 kilos, weighing in at about 14 kilos, whereas the Yamaha and the Casio really are very lightweight. So I'm going to just pick that up like that ever so easily, and they weigh in at just over 11 kilos each. So from a portability point of view, Yamaha and Casio are slightly lighter weight to carry than the Roland. Now all three models have